Up next, we have Robyn Perkins, who is a multi-award-winning science comedian who uses comedy to explore life, humanity, and the way we are. She started comedy about a decade ago and now tours the world with her shows. As a former marine biologist, shout out to Seinfeld fans, her science background plays a big role in her hour-long shows and her science comedy panel, Comedy for the Curious. Robyn Perkins has graced us with a half-hour excerpt of her show called Million Dollar Maybe, and I'm going to play that now.
Welcome to the stage, Robyn Perkins!
Guys, thank you so much for coming. How are we doing? Are we having a good night? Oh, hi, welcome. I'm Robyn. That's my name. I just before we get started, I'm American. I have to say that at the beginning of every show. I know I've been here for 15 years, and all I can tell you is after 15 years, I've realized I am the type of American that British people call too much. That is not what this show is about, though. Do not worry. What this show is about, basically, guys, I'm in love. Oh, her name is Caitlin, I will say. Yeah, no, I will say I am bisexual, though, so still have a chance. So do you. So that was really how it works, just being like, yes, yes, yes. No, yeah, no, yeah. Oh, I'm kidding. I totally would. It just, we can't, oh, I'm sorry, that was weird. That's not how I planned on. It was really the entire hour. No, you know what it is though. I didn't always realize I was bisexual. I only realized about 6 or 7 years ago. So yeah, so pretty late into my 20s. Wow. Okay. Some of you guys laughing. This side of the room decidedly going, she's done the maths wrong. I get it. 15 years into my 20s. That is weird. That is late, right? I came out at 35 years old. 35, that is late, right? I guess it's not too bad, right? It's better than 90, I would say. Yeah, although maybe 90 is the perfect time to realize you're bisexual. Yeah, because that's all the time where the penis is like, stop working. Be good. But why? Like, why? How did I not know? How did I not know? I've been overanalyzing this for fucking years, right? And the thing is, I do have a very analytical brain because I love science. Big fan of science as well. Are we fans of science? All right. I will say it is a spectrum. I know that. On one end of the spectrum are people who are like, science, love it. Yeah, right? The other end of that spectrum is, of course, unvaccinated. So... just checking everybody's laughing at that. Lovely. But no, if anybody is worried that this show is going to be too sciencey, I'll give you an idea. I used to be a marine biologist before I started doing this. Yeah, and then I realized following your dreams is way better than disposable income. Which is lovely. I still think in science, though, and I'll give you an example of that. How many of you guys know the reality TV show Are You the One? Anybody? Anybody? Yes, nice. A couple other people without standards, cool. It's your classic reality TV show, right? You got 10 guys, 10 girls who are scientifically matched to each other, which we all know is not science. And they got to figure out who they're matched to win the prize money. And every episode, they get 2 clues to figure it out. Yeah? Right. Now, I am the kind of person that watches that shit with an Excel sheet. Yeah, I know. They had 10 episodes to figure it out. I did it in 7. Yeah, and if anybody knows the show, it's season 4. So I'm sitting there going, all right, how did I not know? How, like my over analytical brain was like, how did I not know? And I thought about this for a while, and I thought, you know what? The reason why I didn't know until I was 35 is probably because up until I was 35, I'll be honest, guys, I was perfectly satisfied by cock. I did. Look, if I'm being honest, though, I wasn't satisfied by cock. I wasn't. I don't. Not for the reasons that you might think. I wasn't denying anything. I wasn't suppressing anything. I wasn't satisfied by cock because I dated a lot of assholes. Oh, I am not saying that all men are assholes. I am saying all men that I dated are assholes. In my single days, oh my God, I was gaslit so often I didn't pay for electricity. Right? Oh, when it comes to dating, I am more attracted to red flags than Spanish bulls are, all right? This is my baseline level. I don't. And the thing is, so many things, because there should have been signs, right? It wasn't, there were signs. There were so many signs as well. Oh my God, like, so I should have seen the signs. Like, number one, I was the only straight one in my friend group. Big sign there. I know. Number two, I love Scary Spice, but fucking loved Scary Spice. Do you know what I mean? Like, love, yeah, I'm talking about that. Yeah, we fans. There's a very big mix of ages here. Some of you guys weren't alive when the Spice Girls were out. Go fuck yourselves. Love Scary Spice. And, the other thing that I did is, so there's this thing that happened in the States. I don't know if it happened to you. You're quite young, but when I was in my 20s in the States, guys would come up to groups of girls and just be like, oh, if you make out, we'll buy you drinks. Did that happen over here? No? America! To be honest, I was always the one that was like, I'll do it! And all my friends would be like, we have the drinks. And I was like, I'll do it again. The signs were there. But I wasn't in a place to see the signs, if I'm honest. Like, I wasn't, because I grew up in New Hampshire. Yeah. And I had very American family, like very American parents, right? Their names are Barbara and Ralph. Oh, we know Ralph, right? Ralph is ex-military, speaks in aggressive bullet points, you know the type. Oh, you know, life is all about setting goals and achieving them, right? You got to finish what you started. To the point where the man can't even have a liquor cabinet, all right? You got to finish what you started. This is my child. Very intense, right? And New Hampshire, right? You guys know it, New Hampshire. New Hampshire is the suburbs of America, right? The very, suburban, lovely town with the money and the blah, blah, right? It was a very heteronormative place to grow up, I'll be honest, in the 80s. Like, it wasn't the dark ages, okay? We had gay people. Three of them, we knew their names. Point is, like, we didn't have an option growing up. When I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, you had two options, right? You were either straight or you were gay, and I like Christian Slater, so that meant I was straight. That's it. And I know that's ridiculous to say. I didn't know it was an option. I get that. That is, like, look, I've heard of the word bisexual. If you asked me to define, if I could tell you the dictionary definition of a bisexual, I just didn't think it was like a thing that people were. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if it really existed, right? Because when I grew up, like, we didn't have visibility. We weren't in the movies. We weren't on the TV shows. We weren't in the magazines, right? Like TED Talks. We know TED Talks. TED Talks started, actually, in 1984, 40 years ago. They got popular around the year 2000. First TED Talk about bisexuality, 2015. Yeah, you want to know what came before it? 2012, how to use a paper towel. Right? Not even how to wash your hands, which, I'll be honest, in 2020 would have been pretty fucking useful. That was more important. Do you know what I love about this? Is the guy fucking loves paper towels. Look at his face. So excited, right? Oh, we weren't everywhere. We weren't in the articles. We weren't in the research, right? My girlfriend is gay, and she says that it's because bisexuals are the middle child of the LGBT community. Yeah, she was like, you're there, but don't be surprised if you get left behind in a car park. Look, here's the thing. I'm going, how the hell am I supposed to know that bisexuality is an option when growing up I didn't even know that sexuality was an option, right? Like, honestly. And then, in 2008, I moved to London. Oh, yeah, dirty London. City of one-night stands, London. Oh, I learned what a one-night stand was. I practiced it, and I perfected it. Oh, and then in 2017, I guest starred in a threesome and realized I liked all of it. Thank you very much. And that is how I realized I was bisexual. Right? Genuinely, in that moment, right? And I know you're sitting there going, wow, that's a hell of a realization. I know. To be fair, I didn't know if that counted. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if I was, like, immediately bisexual. Because I didn't know if there was, like, a system that you had to go through. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know if it counted right away or if you just had to, like, put in more time. I don't know. Was there a process? I'm sitting there going, how many girls do I have to go down on before this becomes official? I don't know, maybe there's a card or something you could get, like a loyalty card or something. Oh my God, you could do it like coffee shops. You know, coffee shops have like the stamp cards. Yeah, get a stamp, like fill it out and you get a free one. Or maybe you realize that you're bisexual for a certain percentage of your life, right? Because at this point in time, I'd only been bisexual for 14.32% of my life. I have done the maths. And yes, I do know it to more decimal points. I didn't know, like, is that it? And I'll be honest, I wasn't very good. I wasn't very good at hitting on women. Oh my God, actually, I'll tell you this. In 2018, I had a massive crush on, I was up at the Edinburgh Fringe. I had a massive crush on my venue technician. Her name was Caitlin. Yeah, and I got a great idea to hit on her via email. Oh, because nothing says, I want to jump your bones like, sincerely yours, Robyn. In case anybody is not wondering if that is the truth, that is the email. Yeah, you don't have to read it, mainly because there is video footage of the email. Oh, yeah, because The Fringe in 2018, they had a documentary that they were making of our Fringe. Yeah, so there is footage of me trying to construct the email with the help from not one, but two straight girls and a man eating fudge. As well, I'll be honest, we didn't construct it together. Came up to this shit with a rough draft, and then my friend Sarah helped me edit it,
So
okay?
I changed it slightly. So I've done hello, smiley face, then paragraph. Hope you're having a day off, nothing too important just. And then rather than bullet points.
Bullet points! Because apparently bullet points are my love language.
Bullet points?
Yes.
That's amazing.
One, I didn't reply.
That's
Two, I really like it.
amazing.
Three, is this your suggestion? Fuck you, Robyn.
Yeah, I'll be honest. She didn't write back. I know, I was surprised too. Every single day, just being like, refresh, 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 refresh. I don't know why she's not writing back. Yeah, I was so disappointed. Nothing happened that Fringe. It took me 11 months to get her to forget about the email. And then 11 months later, she came to a preview of the next year's show. It was actually in this room, right? She was sitting about right where you are, right? I was very excited. And even though that show had nothing to do with me being bisexual, I was dropping that shit in whenever I could. Oh, I was like, there I was at the grocery store, as bisexuals do. Hey, peppers and courgettes, don't mind if I do. Bisexual. It was great. We went out drinking that night. We were chatting, and then like a couple of times hanging out, like a million text messages later. Guys, we hooked up. Yeah, I know. I wasn't supposed to be serious. I know that because she told me. No, I know she told me, and I was like, fine, as long as you stamp my card. A favorite bit about that, though, she didn't just casually be like, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship. She delivered the news in like a proper military-style debrief. She was like, look, I am not ready for a relationship. This is about sex and company. And I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to date a woman, and I'm still dating my fucking father. Oh, no. But we actually, to be honest, guys, we started hanging out, right? Yeah, we started hanging out more, yeah. And I was like, starting to get some of those emotions and everything. It wasn't just like, oh, tits. I know. I could tell. I don't know, but it was like, oh, it was cool. It was like starting to be a thing. And then one day, she calls me at like 11 p.m. and I was like, ooh, booty call, lovely. And she's like, hey, do you want to like hang out and talk? And I was like, oh, emotional booty call. Yes, please. And I was like, but I have a comedian crashing on my sofa, so we'll have to have this emotional booty call at your house. And she said, oh, just come down to the street, right? It'll take 2 seconds. Yeah, like I'm getting broken up with, right? Like I know I have been broken up with enough to know that I am getting broken up with, and I am really upset about this. And I go down to the street, and she's there, and she was like, here's the thing. This was only supposed to be sex and company. And I was like, I know, I was at the briefing. And she was like, but I am starting to get feelings, right? And I was like, oh. And then she was like, but you have never dated a woman. You've never had a proper relationship with a woman. You don't know all the shit that goes with it. You don't know the looks that you're going to get and the comments that people make. And there are still countries that you aren't going to be able to travel to. And you have no idea what this is going to do to your career. I was like, well, you might want to drop the last one off the list. Because I just became a diversity booking. But we stayed together, right? We kept seeing each other, and I'll be honest, guys, every single thing that she mentioned on that list came true. Right? Every single thing. I know. My diary is full. But everything that she said came true. The only thing that she actually didn't put on the list that I didn't know that I was going to have to deal with is that now that I'm dating a woman, I have to validate my bisexuality even more. Right? Because she became my girlfriend, and now I'm introducing her as my girlfriend, and people are like, oh, well, you know, like, then you're a lesbian, right? You're just gay. Like, I had to fight to be bisexual even more. Even people that were very happy for me, like one of my best friends from London was like, oh, here's my friend Robyn, now a lesbian. Right? And it was like, it didn't matter if I knew you for a day or a decade, or if you were just a random heckler at a football club. I'm bisexual, by the way. Do we have any bisexuals in? No such thing.
You're dating a woman, therefore you're a lesbian.
Yep. Dating a woman, therefore it was at a football club. I'll be honest, not my target fan base. But still, dating a woman, therefore you're a lesbian. And don't get me wrong, being like, that's not an insult, obviously. It's just not who I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am still attracted to guys. Like, I watched each and every one of you guys walk in here, and I'll be honest, there are at least, like, 3 of you in this room that I totally would, all right? I'm not going to point out who they are. Because that would ruin the finale of the show. But it was so frustrating, though, because the more I went through, the more I had to validate the fact that I was that I was still bisexual, and in all these stereotypes that I was not ready for. At the basis of them were them people believing that we aren't real, right? You're not bisexual. You're just in a phase, right? You're not bisexual. You're just indecisive. You're just being greedy. You're just pick a side, Robyn. You're not bisexual. And it came in so many different ways from so many different people. Like one of my closest friends in London just looked at me and was like, "Oh, are you sure? Yeah, are you sure you're bisexual? Are you sure you're not just doing it to be cool?" I was like, yeah, totally am. Yeah, I know, because I used to be a smoker, because that's cool, right? And then they discovered that smoking causes cancer, so I thought, fuck it, vagina. You know what they say, muff diving is the new fidget spinner. They don't say that anymore. Oh, greedy. Oh, greedy's another one. Oh, and I hate. And the thing is, it sounds really dated, right? Like, people, you're just greedy, and it sounds like some 1980s homophobia bullshit, right? But people say it all of the time. And I'll be honest, guys, it just makes me think of Roger Hargrave's Little Miss Greedy. Do you know what I mean, right? And I'm just going, all right, fine. If you're gonna call me greedy, at least get the front cover of the book right. So I did watercolor them all myself for copyright reasons, and I have them as coasters. I will. Oh, my mom again. She didn't mean badly, but she was like, "Oh, bisexuals are the nicest because they'll date anything." I know. I was like, "Oh, Mom, that is the sweetest way that I've ever been called a slag." I have so many of them, and they're not just they weren't just from like football club fans either. Like I remember in 2020, I met this well-traveled, well-educated, not white female, like Canadian in her 20s. If I was playing woke bingo, I fucking won. All right, and she flat out was like, "No, bisexuals don't exist. They're about as likely as dragons." Yeah, and then I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, but I used to be a biologist. You want to play this game? All right. I can keep going, all right? You want to? I mean, I'm still going. We can keep doing this if you all day. I mean... But at the heart of all these stereotypes, it was like people were gaslighting us, that we weren't real, right? Like, and you're just saying, how is it not real? How are we not real? It doesn't make logical sense to me, right? My little science brain couldn't take it because I'm going, okay, if you can be attracted to more than one type of facial hair, why can't you be attracted to more than one gender? Right? Because I'll be honest, guys, a beard changes the way somebody looks a hell of a lot more than a vagina does. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if there are 2 people in this room that would shave, we'd be up to 5. I'm just saying. I'm going, why? Why is it? And the other thing I want to make clear is that what surprised me the most is that it was about erasure. And erasure is very different from judgment, right? Because I'm trying to prove that I am something that apparently doesn't even fucking exist in the first place. And it was frustrating. I was new to this world going, what? Why? Why is this happening? This doesn't happen with other things, right? Nobody's sitting there trying to prove, like Aqua, nobody's going up to Turquoise and being like, come on, Turquoise, pick a side. Are you blue or are you green? All right. And I was frustrated, and I was angry, and so I did what people who are angry about social issues do. I went on Twitter, and that led me to a scientific article entitled Robust Evidence of Bisexual Orientation Among Men. Yeah, it was an actual scientific article. And I'm sitting there going, what the shit is that? Like, what the hell is going on? Why does science need to prove that bisexuals exist, right? Why is science doing that? Because science, I don't know if you guys know this, science has already accepted that 1,500 species of animals are bisexual, all right? 1,500 species. Yeah, science is okay with that. 1,500 species of animals are bisexual. Granted, only 10 of them are proud. I know. The other 1,490 are like, it's a weekend thing. I love my wife. I found the article ridiculous. I found it insulting. Because the problem with doing the study is when you legitimize the question, you create the idea that the answer to that question could be no. And bisexuals, we don't need questions. We need validation. If you can't prove anything, how am I supposed to prove that I'm bisexual, right? Because I am just one person, right? Like, I can't. I am now, at this point in time, I was seriously dating Caitlin. We were living together and everything, right? Like, there was a point in time where I was like, oh, I might never hook up with a guy again. All right, yeah. So how am I supposed to prove I'm bisexual? Does that mean every so often I have to, like, hook up with a guy, turn it into an open relationship just to jump on a man? Yeah. I would. Yeah, right? But that couldn't happen just once. Obviously, that would be cheating. It would have to be regular, you know? Like, it would happen every year, right? You know, it'd be like a Chinese calendar, you know? Like, 2024 is the year of the cock. Right, 2025, year of the tit. Love it. 2026, year of the rabbit. I'm going on tour. I'm going to spend a lot of time alone, all right? But even that wouldn't be enough, right? I have to be more frequent than just yearly, right? I have to be like every month, every day. Actually, to be honest, I couldn't prove that I was bisexual until 24/7. I just had dicks in my mouth, vaginas on my faces, like just, hand on some tits, another hand on some, like just 24/7. Just, oh my God, right? And I'll be honest, it would be difficult. I'd probably have to start working from home. All right, I know, it would totally change every day. But even then it wouldn't work because I'd take the dick out to take a sip of water and people would be like, oh, you're lesbian. And don't get me wrong, I would donate my life to the cause. I just don't think it's fair to be called asexual every time I want to nap. Sounds ridiculous, I know. You can't define gender based on genitals. You can't define sexual orientation based on sexual attraction, physical attraction. I mean, I know you're going, fine, Robyn. Why don't you just prove emotional attachment? Can't do that either, right? Because people lie. So what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to show that I'm bisexual? And while I was doing the show, I also did this show in Dover. Now, yeah, do we know Dover? I don't know if you don't know Dover. Dover is like the end of the UK, but also like socialization and civilization as we know it. All right. They didn't know what this show was when I took it to Dover because it was Dover. All right. And as I was in the show, at the beginning of the show, I asked if there were any bisexuals in. Most of the audience said no because they had never heard of it. However, there was a 12-year-old boy who very confidently raised his hand and was like, I'm bisexual. I was like, fucking hell, yeah, 12 years old, fucking great. Maybe this whole show is pointless. And I was like, when did you realize that you were bisexual? And he said, I realized at 10 years old. I was like, shit, he's already got 16% of his life under his belt. Oh, and I said, how's it been going? And he said, well, I came out to my best friend, and he hasn't talked to me since because he doesn't want to catch my queer. And he said, but that's not what bothers me the most. What bothers me the most is that everybody at school just calls me gay, right? My friends call me gay. My enemies call me gay. My teachers call me gay, and I'm not gay. I'm bisexual. I'm bisexual. I know I'm bisexual because there's at least 3 girls in my class that I totally would. Didn't say that. I was like, yeah, it does still matter, right? It's still a thing. God, I wish it wasn't a thing, but it's still a thing, right? Because every time you say that, you joke around that somebody's just a lesbian now, or they're going through a phase, or they're doing it to be cool. Every time you say something like that, there are very tangible health implications. Bisexuals compared to lesbians and gay men, we have higher rates of depression, higher rates of anxiety, higher rates of binge drinking and substance abuse. We are 5 times more likely to find ourselves in abusive romantic relationships. Bisexuals are the least likely to come out compared to anybody else. And 40% of bisexuals have thought about or attempted suicide, as did that 12-year-old boy. So when you say that we don't exist, like, where are all the statistics about? Because it's still a thing. And don't get me wrong, some people are fine. Some bisexuals are fine, right? Some bisexuals are absolutely fine. Some are not fine. Some bisexuals are massively trying to validate their bisexuality by finding a scientist, forcing them to Zoom and writing a fringe show about it. I'm fine. But the point is, we're not there yet. That's why we're doing the show, because we just aren't there yet. But I realize that, in a way, I'm jealous of the kid. Right? Not for all the shit that he's gone through, obviously. But I'm jealous that at the age of 12, he has such a strong, confident identity in something that I didn't even know was possible at 12 years old. Right? So cool. Like, he doesn't even care. Right? Not that he doesn't care, but just like, yeah, and I still care. I absolutely still care. Like, I remember when I came out to my dad, I was fucking petrified. Oh, it's my dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, coming out to your dad because it's your dad. And I was so nervous. And I go up to him and I was like, Dad, I got to tell you something. And he goes, okay. I was like, I'm seeing somebody. And he goes, okay. I was like, it's a woman. And he goes, okay. I was like, any questions? And he goes, so you're gay? I was like, no, Dad, I'm bisexual. And he looked at me very confused. As it turns out, everything was lovely. Right? Everything was absolutely fine with my dad. He had a whole lot of questions, which was great, right? He was asking me about the girl that I was dating, Caitlin. He was like, is it serious? And I was like, well, actually, a few months ago, she spent the entire day in the garden, right, making a surprise. I know I love surprises, right? She was doing some DIY, because stereotypes. And she invites me out at night, and she had built a massive pergola with, like, fairy lights and a bonfire, and she takes my hand, and she was like, Robyn, will you marry me? No. I was like, I really thought this was just sex and company. But I said yes. Yeah. And my dad was so excited. He was like, oh, my God, we're going to have a gay wedding. Oh, a gay wedding. You're excited for the gay wedding. And I was like, Dad, it's just a fucking wedding. In fact, the gayest thing about our wedding is the fact that we wore matching Doc Martens. All right. And he went, I don't understand. Why is that gay? And I was like, well, the Doc Martens, Dad. And he was like, but why? And I was like, well, the Doc Martens. And he was like, but why? And I was like, well, the lesbians and the Doc Martens. And he was like, look, I don't understand why Doc Martens are associated with lesbians. They're just a really practical shoe. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, love. We got shit-faced. He opened another bottle of wine again because he's my dad, and of course we had to finish it because you got to finish what you started. And then we got so drunk, and it was really lovely. And he gets so drunk he reaches a point where he very crucially is not going to remember anything. And I say crucially because as he was going to bed, he just drunkenly looks at me and goes, you know what, Robyn? I think we have that in common. I was like, oh, no. I am not ready for Ralph to tell me that he's bisexual. That is not what he said, because my dad, when he's drunk, also thinks that he is hilarious. So as he was going to bed, he just drunkenly looks at me and goes, well, if you think about it, because I'm ex-military, looks like we both traveled the world for Bush. And he can never know that I remember that. I will say it's been amazing. He gets on with my wife so well. We did get married about a year ago. This is us. So I know I've been doing this show long enough. There's Ralph right there walking me down the aisle. Very excited. I know. Oh, yeah. The dress has a whole other story, but we definitely don't have time for that. So that's it. That is the... Oh, yeah. Oh, and we play laser tag. At our wedding. It was fucking cool. All right, I think that's it. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Have a great night. Cheers. Goodbye.